I mean, this is a random online show, meaning that it can come on at any time, in any space, in any place, but I will have dedicated moments to it. I want to thank everybody because over the last couple of months, it's been a grueling couple of months. I was doing a great job during my birthday, and it's become a grueling one because there's so much work to do and so many changes to be made, and so many things happened that we didn't necessarily expect. But for me, the last 32 years have been dedicated in my life to the Parliament of World's Religions. And people go, "Oh, no, you weren't involved with staff." Well, I was early on, but I've always been a participant, and I've always worked towards the global ethic that I signed in 1993, which is about making the world better. And now I'm focusing on the fifth ed, which is going to be climate change. But let me go ahead and first. Pagan World TV is a social transmitter. We are unique, and I'm first one of the early people to use it. But as a social transmitter, we have we've removed ourselves from Roku because the company, our TV provider, once again failed us in the middle of a major event, and it has happened before. It seems that they can't handle spikes. I don't know what it is, but we are now looking for a new Roku provider and online streaming television provider. Neil Goodman, a great person, an individual, we went to the NAB show earlier this year and discovered something called fast channels, which we are technically one, free ad supported television. And we're talking with a number of them as well. So we're going to continue our process because that's what we do. We continue our process. So for those who haven't been able to find us in Roku, that is why we canceled our service after they failed us again at the Parliament of World Religion when we were going live. And we were continuing to go live throughout the whole process. We utilize Restream, we will utilize other providers. So I'm very excited about that. And so, what are we talking about today? Well, let me go ahead and clear up something. I have freed myself in my life. I've gotten myself into a better position. I am really happy. People have asked me, how am I feeling? Oh, I have the whole turmoil. There are temporary emotions that I'm feeling. And I've had a lot of them. And let me go ahead and dictate what temporary feelings are. What I mean by that are the feelings of the moment, feelings of that are caused by a combination of chemicals, situations, chemicals in my body, chemicals in my brain, chemicals that I'm feeding myself. There are medications that I need to take. I take two medications every day. I take a leave, 3 tablets in the morning, and 30 cc's of 70/30 Novolin insulin every morning. Those are the two things I take. I really don't take any other medications. I have a taste for cannabis, as people know, but that is not a requirement. It may feel like it is, but I'm not. I'm not one of those people who are taking medical marijuana uh, for any purpose. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm healthy. I walk. I talk. I've been going across the country for the last couple of years. I've traveled across the country. I think I've calculated nine. I have put in probably around 100,000 miles over the last 2 years. And why have I done that? 3 years. And why have I gone across the country? Well, first of all, and that is to learn about pagans. I mean, not just pagans, but learning pagans. Some people study paganism. I say this all the time, but I study pagans. What do I mean by that? I want to find out about their community, who they are, what they do. I want to always can make connections of it. And over the last 23 years, celebrated on September 4th, 22 years, I'm sorry, and 3 years before that as the Daily Spell, Witch School will celebrate its 22nd year. And at this point, I am not involved with it. It's ran by the Krellin Education Ministry. I was able to get it to be independent. It operates on its own, and it has some great staff. So check out with them. I will be interviewing those staffs at some point. I'm going to be interviewing a lot of people. What I'm best known for is these idea of interviews and talking to pagans. I'm talking to you guys. I want to now get into this next step in my life. So I'm no longer involved with Crowley Education Ministry, which is the holder of Witch School, and that's okay. That's as it is supposed to be. I mean, the danger of any eldership is becoming toxic. I mean, unfortunately, they want so much control. They want to measure the meeting, and I'm having so much of a time with some of the elders who are beginning to recognize this, and they are becoming better elders. Paganism has are starting to get better elders. We're maturing, we're exercising, and I'm so happy about that. I'm talking with them, and I'm really pleased about that. And we're starting to see it. So I'm no longer involved with Witch School because it has matured. It has got its own organization, and its graduates have become its professors. Its graduates are operating the system. So Witch School became really the first project that I succeeded at. And at this Parliament of World Religions, it went from being, when I was just an idea coming out of the Parliament, to us standing up on the main stage of the Parliament. M. Reverend Phoenix Williams Coffin Williams, was standing there along with Right Reverend Rain Packery of South Africa. I know, why do we always add South Africa? Because we want to make the distinction that she was representing her country, her people, her friendships, and all of that. And then, of course, M. Reverend Don Lewis retired. And so he was there too. And this is something that has been a 30-year goal to get us as much representation we are. We were represented in rituals, we were represented in classes, we were represented across the board. Almost 60 Corellians were attending there, and others of our friends. We helped out many people there. We raised funds, we raised that. We helped out some of the biggest dignitaries. We helped out one of the biggest dignitaries, Patrick McCollum, through the Paladins, was helped, and the various Paladins were their assistants. And that was very cool. We raised a lot of money. We brought Rolando Apu, which has been a delight. Everybody has loved Apu, and we're seeing benefits from that because his peace mission continues to grow. So I want you, Rolando Apu. I still want it out there. I think he's done a magnificent job being a representative of peace. So we've had a lot of people we brought out and brought to this and brought this energy to the world for that for us to extend, and that being their representative Parliament of World Religions was my primary goal. Now that it is done, I'm also just the Right Reverend Ed Hubbard to the Corellian tradition. I'm clergy number 4 of the membership list, and I'm not involved in any governance there. And I haven't been involved with governance since 3/8, 2023. I mean, we had a chancellor change, and I stepped away. I really stepped away, and then, well, that's another story, another time. But as of today, I am simply my Corellian Nativist Church Incorporated. I back 100% the leadership that is there, but I am not involved in any form of governance or operations. That's important to know. They are there, and again, the graduates of the Witch School system all came and regenerated that. And it's a miracle that a family tradition, which was dying out at the late part of the 20th century, was able to find its way to becoming the globally largest tradition with people all over the world. And they came together at the Parliament, and that was an amazing thing. Pagan Tonight Radio. We'll see what happens with that, but I think there's going to be a lot of activity with that. Magic TV right now is right now one of the most important aspects of my life. It is part of what it is. But what am I going to tell you? What am I doing? I am the CEO of the Pagan World Project, and that's the only thing I'm doing within that context. And what it is, it's time for us to get 1 million pagans connected. My vision of the Parliament was very, very strong. Feel free to ask me questions. I know this is early. I will probably trust other times, but feel free to ask me anything you want. So we need to connect 1 million pagans. The thing that came out of the Parliament more than anything is not to try to control them, not to try to settle them, not to try to bring them into one unity, not any of that. That's all stuff people have tried over the years, but just simply to make connections. So pagan.world is my way of trying to get connections. This is another way to get connections. I have known technology. I've known all of this. And before I've already done this, we connected 300,000 people right now to Witch School over the years. Wow, 22 years, almost 300,000 people are registered on the front page since we've really kind of redid the site, had the site redone. And we've been continuing to work on that. And that's something amazing. We were able to produce over 5,000 clergy. There are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who've learned witchcraft, Wicca, magic, psychism, and all of it. So Pagan World Project is my next step. And of course, in that project will be an educational platform. The first school that is now forming, we just completed, is Psychic Academy. And I have a huge love of psychics, so, clairvoyance, clairaudience, telepathy. My name of my first company was Telepathic Media because I believed all of this computer electronics. And I was ridiculed in the early days. Oh my gosh. It was so funny. I was deeply ridiculed for having this idea that we would that telepathy was coming in, synthetic telepathy, the computer was telepathy. And at the time that I was saying this, we were barely out of Thomas Legan and a lot of other people. We were doing the AOL Pagan Tea House. There was a lot of chat rooms. There was a email list would emerge, and we would have these sort of limited text communications, but they were so fun, so exciting. We were connecting with people beyond our house. We were in our houses and we were actually communicating with people more than one on one because we had the telephone. I mean, let's be honest, people don't remember when we just had the telephone as our primary outside communication. That was very important to us. And so that was very important to us. And then we would have party, we started out with party, then we went to individual communication. Then we had to pay extra to have party talks online. And we would do that too. But when with the advent of '93, we just celebrated not too long ago the anniversary of the great internet, the HTTP World Wide Web, as it was presented in 1993. Oh my gosh, I was there. I watched it. I watched it emerge from forums and CompuServe and Prodigy and all these other account systems, and to being AOL. And just remember the CDs. And AOL then became the connection to the internet, and then other services would come too. The invention of the browser really transformed that. And today I broadcasted a program with that. So my earliest belief was that we were becoming telepathic. Now I'm going all in on this hypothesis, this theorem. I can show you that. And it's technically now a theorem because I've proven certain parts of it. It was a hypothesis, it became a theorem. And that is that the internet is our path to more telepathic like communication. We're now changing we're offering our thoughts. We now have vision. We now share thoughts. We can really get close to each other mentally. So we're living in a mindscape, and the cyberspace, psychic space, has been my theory, and that it is where we live. Our imagination is a very powerful tool. It is not nonsense. It is not because this is imagination, it's not existing. We use our imagination to fuel our visualizations that allow us to change the world. We have changed the world. I have changed the world for the better. And I've also changed the world in lots of different ways. And I'm a hero in some people's. Some people consider me like a great guy. I've heard this, and I've heard people call me the villain. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I just do what I do. I cannot listen to the negativity. Fine. How much pain do people have to be in to be negative? I mean, really in pain. I mean, in agony. In that, when people leave negative comments or really just kind of try to say, "Oh yeah," I just don't listen to it. It doesn't affect my ego. It doesn't affect my energy. It doesn't affect my thoughts because I'm trying to accomplish goals, and that is connect pagans. So that's been always been my thought. And Pagan World is my next step of connecting pagans. 1 million pagans. Uh, that is what Pagan World's all about. And so yeah, and so you're going to see me go for that. And you go, well, no, why would you want to do that? I mean, typing out. Why would I want to do that? Well, because I think there's a lot of value to so many of these ideas out there that if we could connect 1 million pagans, connect 1 million people together, uh, it would be an important thing. In 2010, that was my decade-long project. Can we connect 1 million people? And we've done that numerous times. But now I want to connect them on a more permanent way. Directories. I know so many of you are working in directories. Let's get some happiness to your directory. I'm not looking to go compete with what's out there. I'm trying to bring them together inside Pagan World. And so that's going to be, so Pagan World's going to have that. We're going to have an education platform for school, Psychic Academy, which I am working on with my hypothesis that we're going to develop telepaths, people who can go out and get work. No, I'm not just going to try to create now witches, which is great. Have had my hand. I've seen so many great teachers, and I have watched people go from being a very young student as a teenager to world class leadership. I have seen people in their middle age move to world class leadership. I've seen older people with world class leadership, and so we have people who are now working on the global level through the witch school systems, through the education systems that we've created. And that feels so good. And not only that, it's regenerating even more leaders. And so I'm really pleased with that. I'm really happy with that. And so now what are my next step? Well, let's see if we can connect 1 million pagans, create Psychic Academy, and as the first of multiple educational platforms. And more importantly, connect other education systems because just because I was one of the very first, in fact, Cherry Hill was very much the upper that, and I was the popular. We offered free education to the world, and that has worked out. So between those two schools, we kind of spurned a lot of more. There's like hundreds of schools now, and I want to connect those two. So what can you do today? Let me go ahead and offer this. So last but not least, I'm going to keep this short today. So to the best of this is that I'm working on the Pagan World TV. I'm the CEO of Pagan World Project, and that I want to connect pagans, and I want to find ways to help them. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about Gaia Thrift, or maybe even later today. This is a random show, so I will talk to you. Today I will begin also the process of random thrift. Rabbit to all of you out there. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you helped me with the clarity. I will be doing a lot more of this. I feel like very much this is how we have to project ourselves forward. So today, more than anything, September 1st, set your intention. We're out of the blue moon. Set the intentions, what you did. Now start to act on them. Take one action today that makes your life better. Take one action today that makes somebody else's life better. And take one action today that has only meaning to you. And remember, don't let them get to you. You are a unique and powerful human being with lots of energy. And there are so many things we're going to be able to do. But I am now projecting forward. I want to thank you. I'm Ed the Pagan. And you can find me anywhere. Look up Ed the Pagan. You can find me anywhere. And Facebook and everything else. Let me know what you're thinking. And soon we'll do more. Tomorrow morning at 7:30, I'll be talking with Gaia Thrift and talking about how we're going to expand. I am serious looking at that. Blessed be. Thank you, Vanessa. And with that, blessed be.